A Turkish court has ruled to halt the trial of Saudi suspects over the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and transfer it to Saudi Arabia, drawing condemnation from rights groups. Key points. Khashoggi's killing at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul 4 years ago sparked a global outcry. Khashoggi's killing at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul 4 years ago sparked a global outcry. The prosecutor in Istanbul has called for the trial of 26 Saudi suspects to be transferred to Saudi authorities. The prosecutor in Istanbul has called for the trial of 26 Saudi suspects to be transferred to Saudi authorities. Rights groups say the move ends any chance of justice for Khashoggi's family. The move comes as Ankara mends ties with Riyadh. Khashoggi, a US resident who wrote critically about Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, was in October 2018 at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. He had gone there for an appointment to collect documents required for him to marry his Turkish fiancée Halt Cengiz. Turkish officials alleged that Khashoggi was and then dismembered with a bone saw inside the consulate by a team of Saudi agents sent to Istanbul. The group included a forensic doctor, intelligence and security officers, and individuals who worked for the Crown Prince's office. His remains have not been found. Last week, the Turkish prosecutor called for the trial in absentia of 26 Saudi suspects to be transferred from Turkish to Saudi authorities. Turkey's Justice Minister later said the government backed the request. However, a lawyer representing Khashoggi's fiancée criticized the move. Making the decision to halt the trial is against the law, because the acquittal ruling about the defendants in Saudi Arabia has been finalized, Gökmen Basbana said. The fact that the trial is being transferred to a country where there is no justice is an example of irresponsibility against the Turkish people. Khashoggi's killing triggered a global outcry and put pressure on Prince Mohammed, who is Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler. A US intelligence report released a year ago said Prince Mohammed had approved the operation to or capture Khashoggi, but the Saudi government denied any involvement by the Crown Prince and rejected the report's findings. Rights groups say decision shows Saudi authorities can get away with. A Turkish court began the trial in 2020, when relations between the Turkey and Saudi Arabia, two Sunni Muslim regional powers, were tense. But with Turkey keen for investment to boost its economy, Ankara has sought over the last year to heal the rift with Riyadh. The Istanbul court's decision came despite warnings from human rights groups that turning the case over to Saudi Arabia would lead to a cover-up of the killing. It would end any possibility of justice for Khashoggi and would reinforce Saudi authorities' apparent belief that they can get away with. Michael Page, Deputy Middle East Director at Human Rights Watch, said. Amnesty International Secretary General Agnes Kalamard said, "By transferring the case of a that was committed on its territory, Turkey will be knowingly and willingly sending the case back into the hands of those who bear its responsibility." Indeed, the Saudi system has repeatedly failed to cooperate with the Turkish prosecutor, and it is clear that justice cannot be delivered by a Saudi court. A Saudi court issued a final verdict in 2020 that sentenced 5 mid-level officials and operatives to 20-year jail terms. The court had originally ordered the penalty, but reduced the punishment after Khashoggi's son Salah, who lives in Saudi Arabia, announced that he forgave the defendants. 3 others were sentenced to lesser jail terms. What has happened to Turkey's declared commitment that justice must prevail for this gruesome, and that this case would never become a pawn in political calculations and interest? Ms. Kalamard said. AP